Hey y'all, it's Motha
Knows.
Knows. And
What it do?
we back.
We back.
I'm Ariel.
And I'm Amber.
And thank y'all for tuning in one more time. For
And
the one
please.
time.
And keep it coming and keep it
Right.
going. Keep the party going. Like
Exactly.
Jesus said.
Exactly. So what are we gonna talk about today?
Who child?
Who
These
child what?
streets.
What's wrong with the
First of
streets?
all, the streets got me playing private investigator.
You been scrolling?
Digging through files, reading court orders.
I can't.
Watching a little whistleblower interviews, so I'm sure we've all heard like the Diddy situation and
Yeah.
Cassie, her lawsuit, and now other people want to come out and speak about just what they've seen over the years from him.
Right.
So just we can just break that down a little bit because it's a lot.
So first and foremost, Cassie and Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about that. The dynamics, the power dynamics. Based on what I've read, there was an age difference that played a role in the dynamics. So what's your thoughts on it?
Okay, it does feel predatory, right? Lawsuit aside, you see this young beautiful woman, young beautiful girl, because even though legally you're a woman at 18, you're not a woman yet.
Right. I think 19. Was it 19?
Right, but I'm saying legally.
Oh, got it.
Right. Right, just by law, you're a woman because she was 19. Mm-hmm. That's what they say.
In most states. And I'll say this, some states vary too. It could be younger, unfortunately.
16. Yep. So legally, yes, are you considered a woman? But mindset wise,
development,
maturity, it's just like she's not a woman yet. Right. Like she doesn't even know herself.
Right.
And then to read all of what she went through with this man that was much older, more powerful,
and powerful in the industry that she was trying to make moves in.
Exactly. She was trying to establish her career. So it just all looks predatory from the very beginning. Like, if I don't know anything else, you look like a predator because you out of all the women, first of all, you had Kim Porter.
Right.
Misa.
Right.
Whoever else you were dating that were women.
Rumored, allegedly, Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
That threw you off?
It did. So, okay, I'll say why it threw me off is because playing investigator, right?
Uh-huh.
A lot of what I learned about just the industry, the people that were on his label, like Mary J. Blige, girl, I doubt she was interested in Puff.
I'm not saying she was interested in him, but again, power dynamics.
Oh, okay,
it has nothing to do with interest.
I thought you were saying like when I called out Kim and Misa, you said Mary. I thought you were meaning like they had a situation.
Yeah.
I've never heard that, but what I have heard about her, I don't see her being interested in Puff. But she could have. They could have.
Who did she marry? What was that guy that she married that took all her money?
I can't remember his name.
You can't see her with Puffy?
Okay, touche. So you had hella women around you, right?
Case closed.
And don't do that. And you're around this. You single out this young woman, this 19-year-old, to groom. Basically, is what he wanted to do.
That's the industry. Her. I mean, if you look at a lot of the dynamics there, I don't want to call some people out because some of our faves, but that's the industry.
Some of y'all faves, y'all might want to pay a little bit more attention because it's looking real suspect.
They be grooming those young,
we can't call it. Yeah, I'm not gonna go down into my rabbit hole, but
they know what we're talking about.
Exactly, real suspect, right? So, and I think this is a common practice in the industry, like you said. Like they go after these young girls because they know they can mold them. They know they can get them to do things that another woman might be like,
right.
Even though, from my research.
What you getting this research, girl? Break it down
for us. YouTube streets. What the YouTube streets say is that even like grown women like Kim Porter and Misa, like they also were in the same predicament where they were being, mishandled, mistreated.
He met Kim young.
Oh, he did.
She was a receptionist.
I think probably Misa too. Then to that point,
Misa was young. She was an intern.
But Puff was young too with Kim and Misa, wasn't he?
He was younger. He was still in his 20s.
Right.
I don't know about Kim and Misa. I don't know their ages. I think Misa was young. Like, she was an intern.
Yeah. So, my heart just goes out to the women that find themselves in this predicament where they are much younger. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the support. And most importantly, they don't have the protection.
Correct.
Now, everyone has to be held accountable for this protection. Because if my 19-year-old daughter signs with the grown man, and she's being like, like flown across all these places. Now she's being put up in apartments, and no, yeah, we're gonna have to scale that back. Like,
Or I'm
I'm
gonna be
there.
there with
Exactly.
her
I'm there all the time.
all the time. I think about Tia and Tamara's mom, who was like, I think she is the epitome of what you need, or like a Tina
Brandy's
Knowles,
mom.
Brandy's mom. They were there, like, and they didn't play about their babies. And you could tell by the way they came out,
Mm-hmm.
that they were there. But I'm with you. Like, as a parent, I hate to call people out, but you think about like a young Usher who lived with Diddy,
And Justin Bieber, I'm like,
Justin
I
Bieber,
didn't
like,
even
you're just
know
gonna
this stuff. I'm
relinquish
like,
your children to these people.
Bow Wow?
And
Like,
you're just gonna
what?
let them like, just let your minor
You're
child,
minor.
but and the lifestyle that these people live. Like, even if they are the most responsible, they love your child,
Yep.
they take care of your child, they are exposing your child to a world that they're not ready for.
Yep.
At the bare minimum.
At the bare minimum, they're seeing things that they should not be
The
seeing.
parties, the women, the drugs, you name it. So yeah. I really like, I hats off to Cassie. I've seen a lot of comments on her, and people saying like, why, oh, she shouldn't have settled, she should have took him to court and exposed. But we see what a public filing can do.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have to take him to court, because first and foremost, trials are strenuous.
Mm-hmm.
As a former litigator, even as the litigator, I couldn't imagine what my client was going through, the emotional connection that they
Yep.
had to the case that I didn't have, and I was still exhausted by the end of the trial. So I can only imagine what the toll it takes, especially with the underlying facts of her case.
Yeah.
Like, I was handling business.
Yeah.
I was handling commercial issues. This is a
Personal
issue.
And then personally, right, you don't know what the implication is for you, the people around you, for your
Right?
friends and family, loved
She's
ones.
married. She has babies.
Exactly. Like, I could never blame anyone for settling, because when you lay it out and you think about the emotional ramifications, how can you judge someone to say, okay, I don't want to go through that long, tedious process. I would rather settle, walk away, and I'm not going to say made whole, but there's accountability there.
Right. And I mean,
like, I've held this person.
That's the purpose, right, of a civil suit. You're being made whole monetarily for the things that happen to you. So, she's able now to, hopefully she'll put that money toward her medical, her going to therapy, however long that might take, because that's expensive. Maybe she'll start a foundation. You never know what her purpose is with that money. So
yeah. And I think she sued for 30 million, but I think she got way more than that.
So I believe they countered for 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was watching another podcast, and I cannot remember the name because I kind of looked at it very briefly. But this woman that I believe had a legal background, she broke down how Cassie. A lot of people think that Cassie just sued Puff, like just sued Diddy as the person. No, she went after his organizations, I believe.
And that's what you do.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I didn't know. I was like, wait a minute, what? Like,
because she was an employee of his organization.
And that's how she broke it down. Okay, so you know all the lingo. But for me, I was like, wait a minute. Like, I thought she just sued the man. No, she sued his corporation.
She sued the entities.
The entities, and then the insurance
right
that backs these entities. Right. It's not up to Puff if he wants to settle at that point. It's up to the entities if they want to settle.
These entities have board members. They're making these decisions because they're making a business judgment decision, and that's what it's called. So you're making the best decision for the company.
For the company, yeah.
And Diddy is an individual, and he was sued in his individual capacity, but he was also sued in his official capacity.
Yeah.
So he also has fiduciary duties to her. So there's ties that if you bring in not only the individual, but the companies behind the individual, it's hard to what they call pierce the corporate veil. So that's why you bring in the corporations.
Okay. That's interesting. But I feel like that was a smart move. And again, I think pushes accountability more. Because when your organizations and entities, boards, all of that look at what they read and look at the accusations, and they're like,
it looks horrible.
We don't want it. We're not going to drag this out because now we're attached to you. So now we are, like, we can be hurt or bruised from all of this going on. The business, like it could just hurt. It can just expand beyond Puffy and then hit the entities, as an extent of that. So I feel like, I mean, I don't know much about the legal background, but when I read it, I was like, this is genius, girl. Like, I know you're like, yeah, that's.
that is typical.
Yeah.
So because you can't always do that, right? She has an attorney who knew that she was an employee of this company. So that's why there's ties there. So it's a smart thing to do. I will say too, her settlement is smart for her, advantageous for her, I think, because again, she doesn't have to go through a long trial. She can get the money for herself, but she's opened the door for so many other people.
That's where I was going to go to next. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is going to cause the industry to really be scrutinized and examined as it should have been from the jump.
Yeah.
Like when you think about all of the young stars, Britney Spears, like poor girl is just hanging on by a thread.
And I can only imagine what the industry has done to her.
But when you look at all these child stars, young stars that have probably been traumatized in some sort of way, it's like, I mean, everyone needs to be held accountable. Yeah. Like, I'm like, we need to pull back all the records. We need to, look at everyone, which we probably won't get to everyone. But I feel like
there are some people in that industry that are scared, child.
And I think
the ones that we love and know.
Yeah. And I think too, like for those that are coming, maybe it will cause them to reflect and adjust, right? Like some of their actions. Like, okay, like we knew we were tripping for a long time. Like let's scale back on this.
And we talked about that. Like the more you're in it, that industry, I think everyone who first gets in it, like you see all this craziness that's going on, it's alarming. But the more you're in it, you get desensitized to it. It becomes normal. It's normalized around you.
Yeah.
So you don't even see for yourself that, okay, the stuff that I'm dabbling in ain't, like this ain't it.
Yeah. And I wonder, like for Puff, what the mental adjustment is, if there is one.
I think he is.
What the character adjustment, not mental, character adjustment.
I don't think his conscious. Given his demeanor in a lot of different instances, from making the band issues to seeing how he is with all his other artists, his love kick, I think he has gone to some place in his mind where, like I said, it's normalized, number one, but number two, how can they, because of what I've done for them, I think is where he goes.
Yeah. And the whole love kick, right? Like the whole love tour and bringing up the Kim
Not tour. Was it a tour? It was basically a press run.
Thank you, right? Because a little campaign tour.
Yeah, like he knew what was coming.
Like attaching himself to Carisha.
Yeah. Because truth be told, I've heard, this is alleged, that the negotiations with him and Cassie had been taking place for a while.
Yeah. I heard that too. Yeah. But I'm bringing up the love tour too because in that love Diddy, whatever little campaign he was on about love, he was bringing up Kim Porter's name a lot, right?
Oh yeah, purposefully. That's intentional.
Purposefully, it was very strategic. It backfired, fortunately. But going down like the more esoteric, spiritual, like side of it, like there was this, there's this popular medium on YouTube that had apparently channeled like Kim Porter, right? Her name is Sloan Bella.
Okay.
And she seems to be pretty, I mean, based on the details that she was giving, she seemed to be pretty legit. And she was saying that Kim Porter told her that it was going to hit the fan.
She said she channeled
Kim Porter.
Okay.
And Kim Porter told her that it was going to hit the fan for Puff around November 15th. It wasn't exactly November 15th, but
she filed on the 16th.
Yeah. She was like, give or take a day or two, around the 15th, it's going to hit the fan for him. And the truth about him is going to come out. And I bring that up to say, again, I think that because Cassie was so brave in speaking up, there's going to be things in his past with other women that will be brought to light that he will also have to be, that he will also have to be held accountable for, and others that we don't even know about.
Right. That I think there's another woman who's filed a lawsuit
Against him?
Against him, yes. Either an intern or
Mm. So
someone
they're
that would,
gonna.
I think it was like Syracuse. She went to Syracuse or some university, but I think she has filed against him or came out with more information about him. I'll say that before I say someone has filed against him.
It's gonna be a lot of
But
money spent.
I say that to say it took a Cassie. It took someone in
Mm-hmm.
the industry. It had to be someone with a name to say this is what this man has been doing,
Mm-hmm.
so that other people who may not be known
Yeah.
could come forward. So I mean, like I said, I think it was big of Cassie to even put her name out there like that, because she probably had done the work to get past it,
Yep.
and now
And
it's
then to bring it
probably
all back up, and then
resurfacing.
everyone knows the
Everyone
specific.
knows
If you
now.
read
Yeah,
the,
it's a lot.
it's a lot. If you read the court order, but there's also some just being like shared on social media platforms like YouTube and others where people have read the documents and they're sharing the details.
Right.
And those details, y'all.
And also the bodyguards that were there
Yep.
who are coming out now and
Yep.
saying I've seen this.
I've seen it.
Now we talked about this a
Mm-hmm.
little bit too. It frustrates me that it takes a woman to come
Mm-hmm.
forward and say this has happened to me, for then now all these people who were
Yeah,
privy
I
to the
saw it happening.
information then are saying, yeah, I saw it. Now we talked about the fact that a lot of times when things are tied to your livelihood, you make the decision that unfortunately is best for you and those
To
attached
be
to you,
quiet.
as opposed to doing what is
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
Because at that point, who's going to believe you? Like,
right.
this person is in a place of power.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to believe
And
you?
not only that, it's not just him. We know now that the industry was protecting him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the crazy part. That's the part where you have to like really kind of be like, wow, it's a sick world when they are actively trying to protect someone who is predatory. But again, that's because the culture
Is predatory.
in that industry is
Yep.
predatory.
Yep. I was gonna say, if you look at the people who ultimately own these labels, who own these artists,
Mm-hmm.
it's not us,
Right.
right?
It's not us, and it's
It was
always been
started.
predatory.
It was started in the basis of being a predator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of owning someone,
Mm-hmm.
and it just trickled down,
And you
and we
see,
became the gatekeepers. We became the oh, I'm missing the word. I can't think of it right now. But
I mean,
they
but we
used
really are the connoisseurs of culture. So
right. But what I'm saying is they used people like Puffy
yeah,
to do the dirty work for
for
them,
them, yeah,
and he
yep.
gladly did it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's others like him.
But I also don't think. I think a lot of times, like I said, we're talking about this, and I'm being very careful because I don't know. I'm speculating. I think a lot of times people like they lose themselves so much that we're not even really seeing Diddy. We see who he has become based on
Yeah,
what the
the
industry has shaped.
character, the
Know,
persona. Yeah,
his persona has fully taken over. There are people who can suspend their persona and put it away,
and there's people who
and
they
there are
just
people who
they
cannot.
just dive
They
right
have,
in, and
yes,
they become the persona.
yeah,
They're no longer themselves.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So even when you look in his eyes, like his eyes have always been kind of blank to me.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Like even when he was like Puff dancing,
Mm-hmm.
him it's always been a little flat.
Yeah, very showy, very like, let me put on a show for y'all, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not showing you my true self.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not showing you Sean, like, I'm not showing you who I am.
Mm-hmm. And let me say this too. I've seen a lot of comments about always so quick. This community is always so quick to jump on the bandwagon and taking another black man down. What about the black women that could possibly have been affected by this?
That were affected by it.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm gonna need y'all to chill with all that. You know what I mean? When there's concrete things that are coming out and there are people starting to come out and really talk about it, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're gonna see. I'm gonna need y'all to chill on that.
Because I'm gonna say this. Like, there are, like we said earlier, there are other couples, some that are still together, some that are not, that started out in a similar way. The woman is much, 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 much younger,
Yep.
And you wonder like what that dynamic either is like or was like for that woman
at the time
with that man of power.
Right.
And then two, when it comes to accountability, there's all levels. And so we, as the consumer,
that's true
we
too.
also have to look at ourselves and say, we know.
Right.
Like when you think about R. Kelly.
Quite honestly, we knew.
I knew he was a jerk. I have never heard about
R. Kelly, I mean, So we were too young to really pick up on it, but he married Aaliyah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And we were still bumping his
Yeah.
music.
So, I mean,
we still bumping R. Kelly at the cookouts, at the gatherings,
level.
right? We knew at some level.
Yeah.
So then the consumer has to say, all right, I know this person is character-wise, like I know that they don't align with what I think is right or what I believe in. So why am I supporting them and economically putting them in a place where they continue to grow and progress
and can continue to build their influence
and continue to possibly be able to hurt other women?
Right.
Like we all have to be accountable.
We do. You're right.
It go even like when you think about just the state of music in general. When you hear like rap and think like the stuff they're talking about,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And it's like, is this what? Because now you're perpetuating that this is what our culture is, right? Like this is what embodies Black culture. When that could be further from the truth. Yeah. Is it an aspect of it in some areas? Absolutely.
Because we're not monolithic.
But it doesn't define us as a culture.
No, not at all.
And our music in this industry, the way it's defined is always, like it's always in a negative light, putting us down.
Pushing the envelope, the sexuality tropes, everything. So
you got to twerk, you got to be talking about drugs, you got to be talking about like the club and killing somebody, and it's ridiculous.
And it's really ridiculous too, because it's clear to me that the industry wants to push that narrative. You know what I mean? And we're
saying the industry, but again, who owns?
Right.
Yeah. Because when you say I want to make more positive music, there's pushback.
Oh yeah, there's pushback. If you become like an independent artist, you're siloed off into another genre that's not pushed in the mainstream. So yeah, for sure.
But you have to, as an artist, say, is the cost worth it?
And there are artists out there who are like, you know what? No, I don't want that.
I don't want that. And I think in this day and age, I would rather be an independent artist.
Yeah.
Like to have to answer to so many strings and be pulled in so many directions and literally not be yourself anymore. I would rather say, you know what? If I'm successful independent, I'll take that route.
Yeah. Like I think about like Don Richard and Big Crit and Jasmine Sullivan and all, these artists who, again, we're speaking about them. We just referenced that, they chose independence. So they're not going to become this big mega.
Right.
But, you're still known.
But they're still known.
You still have the talent.
Yep.
And that talent can't be denied.
Soul. You still have your soul.
Your soul, right.
Hopefully. Because, like there's other things you deal with in life.
Yeah.
But you're not dealing with that part of life where you feel like that literally you have made a contract with the devil.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
This is energetic at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Energetically, what you're saying is I align with things that crush humanity and that crush human souls and spirits. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's disgusting.
And I'll say this. I don't have that talent. I don't have that call. So I don't want to sit here in ultra judgment because I don't know what it looks like when you have the talent. You finally got into a place where you feel like you were striving to be your whole life, and now you have the opportunities coming your way. I don't know what that looks like to be able to like be strong enough to say.
Well, here's what I'll say. I think that a lot of artists are victims. Like you said earlier, they walk into this with the best ideal of what their situation is going to be.
The best of intentions.
They feel like it's going to be safe. It's going to be protected. They're going to have a voice. They can still be themselves. And then they get so deep in, right? And they realize contractually, none of that is true.
Right.
Like I've signed a piece of paper now and I like literally they probably own me to a certain extent. And so then how do you get out of that?
Yeah.
Who's going to help me get out of that?
I would impress upon a lot of these artists out here. I'm not giving legal advice. Every state varies. But to the extent that you have signed NDAs, just look into it. Just make sure that you have attorneys looking into the validity of those, because the more and more regulations and laws are coming out to basically go against that
Go against what? NDAs?
Go against the idea that you can foreclose someone from speaking on certain topics.
Girl.
I would just say look into it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, I like I said, I think that Cassie did something great for, those women and men, young men and women who might be coming forward, who have a story to tell.
Right.
And I would just impress upon those who are, we all have our little opinions. The opinion mill is circling.
Yeah, girl.
Just, really just taking all the information before you, jump to any conclusions.
Yeah. Like just about what? Because I'm like, conclusions about who? Diddy?
No, not about
Girl,
Diddy.
That conclusion has been made.
Well, true. I'm saying like as far as like any other artists
that
out,
are okay.
Like,
I got you.
I see a lot of victim blaming. Like, why did you wait so long?
And why did you settle?
Why did you settle?
That.
So just be mindful.
And for other women to say that,
yeah,
like how could she settle so quickly? Like,
yeah. But my thing is the whole. I hate seeing women talk about why did you wait so long? If it was,
I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen men say that.
I've seen a lot of women.
Really.
And it's like, if you have truly, I have not experienced this, thank God. But if someone has violated you.
She tried to get away from him though. Like she tried multiple times to leave him.
Yeah.
And she was never protected.
Right. Multiple times. But I'm just saying on a barest of level, not even just the Cassie Diddy situation, but in general. Like if you have been violated, you don't know how you will respond. So I need for people to stop saying why,
And we know the pattern. Like the pattern says, if you've been violated to that degree, like you're a shell.
You're a shell. You're ashamed. You're blaming yourself.
Exactly.
Like just stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So I stand with Cassie and any other woman that has dealt with any traumatic situation like that. Like because it's probably tough to get over.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's a heavy topic, I think, especially because like we talk about the nostalgia of the 90s, early 2000s,
and I would have never
the bad boy era.
I would have never guessed like all of this stuff like
and now it's like really they were bad boys like.
But that's what one of the bodyguards said. They were like, look at the name of the label. Yeah. Like, what do you think the name meant? Like,
I mean, it's clear now.
Very clear.
Because we were just bopping.
Yeah, I was about to wrap me a little bit.
Because it's right here.
Check yourself, consumer. Right.
Accountability. We're going to be better, y'all.
We're going to try.
Right.
Because
at the end of the day, we're going to try. Because if you at a barbecue
with a good bop,
right? You at a barbecue and your legs start tapping a little bit, and you like, oh my bad, because at any barbecue, any given but like still to this day, you can hear happy people, something, happy people. And your legs just start bopping. But we ain't gonna do that.
But that's the power of music, though. So I would urge those with talent would urge you to use that power in a more productive way. That's how powerful it is.
But you bring up a good point. I think that's why that industry has such a huge pull on society. It really it shifts cultures. It shifts what we do, what we think, how we move. Music is powerful.
There are just real quick. I'm gonna keep it high level and light. Angels in heaven.
I was gonna say we ain't gonna get biblical, but music is powerful.
Are assigned to music.
Yeah.
Like again. It's powerful, so
I mean the highest angel,
and then got kicked out of heaven,
right,
and is in the mix of all of the music.
It's a mess.
Yeah, so even the gospel music, but that's another topic for another day.
Yeah,
but so heavy topic. Our hearts go out to anyone victimized because there were men, too, that were claiming to be victimized as well. So I just hope that this really forces the industry to make some great changes and how it treats its talent and people. These are people.
Yep. Hopefully, too, prayerfully, it gives you all a voice and that you can feel comfortable coming forward.
Yep. Because y'all know the masses gonna ride for y'all once you make a claim that we like, all right, they're telling the truth.
Right.
Oh, you ain't,
yeah.
So.
But thank you guys. We appreciate you. Let us know what y'all think about this topic. It is definitely a heavy one, but we definitely want to hear your comments. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Share, subscribe, and share again.
And subscribe again.
Yeah. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.